Welcome everyone, I am Miss Weljean, and for today's discussion, we are going to delve into the theories of language acquisition. I believe you will agree when I say that language is something we all use every day. Can you imagine living your life without talking to the people around you? But the question is, how do we actually acquire language? Do we really acquire it or learn it? And would you agree that it's already within us, even when we were still in our mother's womb? Or would you agree that we acquire it through the people we interact with? So today we are going to meet two major perspectives that attempt to answer this question. How do we learn or acquire language? Language is inborn, according to Noam Chomsky. Even when we were still a baby, we already have this ability to communicate. Our cry, perhaps, is the most basic way of communicating with the people around us to answer our plea. Though we cannot utter words and create simple sentences when we were still a baby, but communication is already there. Language is already evident. So babies are not just copying, they are born with a language acquisition device or LAD. That's why kids can create sentences they've never heard before. They are not imitating, they're not repeating what they have heard. They are actually applying innate grammar rules. They have these grammar rules already inside them. So you try to ponder this example. A 3-year-old child says, I goed to the park yesterday. Even though the child has never heard an adult say good, the correct past tense actually is went. They apply a rule that you add ed to make the past tense. So this shows the child is not just imitating adult speech. Instead, they are generating language based on internal rules. So what this example shows, that the child creates a sentence they have never heard before. And it reveals an underlying grasp of grammar, even if it's not fully correct. So therefore, in Chomsky's idea, we can say that language is part of our biological makeup, not just learned from outside. The children are born with a mental framework for language. But what about the role of people around the child? Do you think the role of the people around the child has a significant impact on the language acquisition of a child? That's where the sociocultural theory of Lev Vygotsky takes in, where he believed that language develops through interaction. I believe I have already discussed this last time about his theory that our environment takes a big role in acquiring language. And our environment is composed with you and I. So each one of us are factors that could contribute to our language acquisition. Children learn best according to the theory of Lev Vygotsky. Children learn best when they are engaged with caring adults and meaningful communication. Perhaps you can ponder this example. A toddler is trying to name an object, let's say a zebra, but doesn't know the word yet. So a toddler points at the zebra and says, horse. And the parent responds, that's a zebra. It looks like a horse, but it has stripes. Over time, the child learns the correct word through this guided interaction. Now, what is this example shows? That the child is learning language by interacting with someone more experienced. The adult is scaffolding the child's learning, giving support that helps the child move to the next level. So in Vygotsky's view, thought and language start separately. but eventually become closely linked through communication and experience with others. Therefore, it's the social connection that builds language. And so, if there is a problem with your social connection or interaction, then that's where language impairment takes in. Perhaps trauma is one of the factors. For example, the Romanian orphanages. We can ponder to this situation. Due to extreme neglect from the carers, studies of children reared in Romanian orphanages in the late 20th century show notable language and cognitive impairments. These youngsters showed speech and comprehension deficits as a result of not receiving regular care engagement and language stimulation. So, institutional parenting has been shown to reduce IQ, hinder neurological maturation, and raise the likelihood of developmental disorders. According to research, the children who endure severe trauma, including abuse or neglect, frequently show delays in their language development. These delays may show up as issues with sentence construction, vocabulary learning, and general communication abilities. Trauma can have an impact on how the brain develops, especially in regions related to language processing. So, to sum up everything, language, therefore, is already within us. And that the environment which begins with you and I is just a supplementary factor that would contribute to the development of acquiring language. Therefore, we are all liable of each other's trauma. We are one of the factors why some of us until this age cannot properly communicate their emotions. Until this age, they cannot express well their emotions. Even if we say that our brain could forget everything from the trauma, our brain is so powerful that it can be trained to forget the negative or the trauma that we have encountered. But the brain as well is so powerful to remember the things that we wanted to bury. Somewhere in our brain, it's just sleeping and waiting when it will be awakened. So to recap the things that we've discussed, the nativist in the presence of Noam Chomsky says, we were born with the ability to learn language. And on the other hand, the interactionist with Lev Vygotsky's theory says, it happens through social interaction. According to him, that language acquisition happens through social interaction and communication. Now, what do you think? Maybe the answer is somewhere in between. Thanks for watching and keep listening, talking, and learning.